just burst into this massive applause, and I always knew I had dancing. When I couldn't find my own purpose, dancing gave me my purpose. I kind of had a moment where I was like, okay, well yeah, I guess this is me. And I just remember thinking, oh my goodness, like this is just it was a dream come true. So in 2011, we had a 6.1 magnitude earthquake. A Taste of Ireland definitely gave me a safe environment to do exactly that, be myself. My advice to future auditioners. Hi guys, my name is Mitch O'Hara. I am 19 years old. I am from Christchurch, New Zealand. And in my episode of Journey to the Stage, I'll be talking in and out of the dance world, staying on track to achieving my dreams, coming out, and how dancing helped me find myself. I hope you guys enjoy my journey to the stage. I began dancing when I was 6 years old. No real reason in particular. I mean, my dad is Irish and I was pretty much raised in Ireland and moved back to New Zealand at quite a young age. So I guess it's always been in my blood. That's not really the reason I started. I just saw an ad in the newspaper and was like, right, better go to crack then, huh? I didn't start competitively until I was about 9. And then at my first nationals, I got 3rd place out of 3 people. And then I got 2nd the following year. And then I have won 8 consecutive nationals since. I started kind of getting into the international dance scene when I was about 10. So pretty much a year after I started. I was going over to Melbourne for the Macalear Championships. My first Macalear Championship, I got 3rd out of 3 people. And I remember me and my dad and my brother were walking out of church one Saturday night, and we were walking with this man who we knew, and I was telling him about how I'd just gone over to Australia and got 3rd in a big competition. And then he started laughing and said, haha, imagine if you only got 3rd out of 3 people. And I just remember thinking, oh yeah, haha, that would be funny. A bit of an overview into my dance career. I have won 8 national championships. I have won the Australian International Oireachtas 3 times. I've been to Worlds 3 times. The first time I went, I unfortunately had a bit of a mistake on stage. Forgot my reel, which was highly embarrassing, but that's alright. So I didn't recall. And then London 2014, I went and I did recall, which was the main goal. And then I got up and danced my set dance out of time, which was awesome. So I ended up 22nd. Dublin 2017 was a really successful year for me, which was really awesome. It was my first World Championships under the O'Neill School of Irish Dance. I felt very prepared and just very relaxed. Like, there was no pressure, and we went over and trained in Derry. That was really awesome as well. A really good experience. I learned a lot about myself, I think as well, because my mum didn't come with me for the first part. It was nerve-wracking and it was scary, but it taught me how to be very independent and how I could rely on myself whenever I needed to be motivated, or if I ever needed a bit of encouragement. I've always been somebody that is very, I either do it or I don't. I will always give 110% if I'm going to do something, and if I don't, then I'm not going to do it at all. One of my bigger achievements most recently was becoming one of the principal performers with the show A Taste of Ireland. A Taste of Ireland, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Honestly, just the most amazing experience of my life. I will say one of the hardest, absolutely one of the hardest, one of the most mentally challenging, but one of the most rewarding. I've found this new sense of family as well. Obviously, I found that in the people who I was surrounded with for 8 months of last year, and I honestly couldn't thank Brent and Kaylee enough for that opportunity to make so many close friends and have just such a safe and healthy environment to thrive and be who you are, and while dancing and doing what you love and traveling. It taught me so much about myself. It taught me resilience. It taught me how to look after my body. It taught me how to be patient with people. It taught me how to be patient with myself, most importantly. So I kind of only decided I wanted to do shows after I actually saw Kaylee perform in Lord of the Dance up in Auckland in 2015, and I remember watching and just thinking, that will be me one day. I will absolutely get up on stage and I will be doing that. I guess I've always been quite a character, if I do say so myself. A bit outgoing, extroverted, outspoken. A Taste of Ireland definitely gave me a safe environment to do exactly that. Be myself and be whoever I wanted to be at the same time. In my dance career, I've had a few struggles and a few moments. I also think it's really important to talk about when things get rocky and acknowledge that they're there. Yeah, I mean, there were a few times where I found that really hard. The first time was with the Christchurch earthquake. So in 2011, we had a 6.1 magnitude earthquake that destroyed Christchurch, and it was really traumatizing. I guess for me, dancing was always my outlet, and the Christchurch earthquake, obviously we couldn't have classes for a little while and things were a bit all up in the air. I took myself to earthquake counselling for a few months and slept in my mum and dad's room for a wee while. I used to sometimes have to have mum stand outside the shower when I used to shower because I was quite scared of earthquakes, and the aftershocks were never ending really. They were always there. And still to this day, sometimes, would be in a cabin or would be in a room in outback Australia, and there'd be a big truck that would drive past, and our beds would shake and all that kind of stuff, and sometimes I would wake up in a bit of a panic and think, oh no, is that an earthquake? And then realise I'm on Australian soil and across the ditch. So I was fine, I was safe. And I remember a big thing that happened was when I was coming back from the Macalear Fish in 2012, and I had just won, and we were just about to leave the airport, and there was another 5.4 earthquake in Christchurch. There was quite a few big aftershocks one day that caused a bit of damage. And I just remember being at the airport and crying and having a panic attack and just being so anxious about going home because I was on such a high and it was amazing. It had been such a great time. I always loved the Macalear Fish. And I travelled home and, it was really scary. One thing that was really good that came out of that was that I actually got to feature in the Irish Dance magazine. They wrote a wee article about me, which was awesome. It was absolutely fantastic. Another thing that was also quite hard for me was I transferred schools. In times where things are kind of all up in the air and you're so used to being in a routine, it's hard to find the balance, but I am just so grateful that when I moved to the O'Neill School of Irish Dance, I knew a lot of people. I had a lot of friends and people who I now consider my family there waiting for me with bells on their toes. When times are uncertain, you do question a lot of the choices that you make. But at the end of the day, I followed my gut and I did the right thing. And I mean, the success that came out of it was just absolutely amazing. I honestly owe so much to all of the teachers I've ever had. And I thank them all because I wouldn't be the dancer who I am today without those teachers. So another obstacle that I had to face for a very long time was bullying, which is obviously a bit of a touchy subject, but I think that it has really helped me with my dance career. So I started an all-boys school in year 9. I went to St. Bede's College, and I really really struggled to find my place. I felt different, I felt out of place. A lot of other boys were always playing rugby and like footy and like, you know, all the stereotypical male sports. And at the time it was when I was about to go over to the World Championships in London in 2014 when I started St. Bede's. If I had got injured, it was probably going to be a bit of a problem. High school's a hard place for a lot of people. I used to get bullied and tormented a little bit. And then I transferred, moved schools. I had Facebook pages made about me and I used to get stuff thrown at my head. And I just remember always having to like second guess every friendship I ever had and having to always watch my back and always having to like look after myself and not really having. I had a good group of friends. I had some really good friends and they looked out for me and that, but I guess it's hard when, you know, everyone's young and hormones are flying and everyone's trying to find their place, and to find the middle ground where I felt safe and where I felt important and where I felt wanted. An important thing that I learned was that I have my place. I know exactly who I am. Like, I put up with a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have had to put up with, but I did. And I think dancing has helped a lot with that. I think I owe a lot to dancing when it comes to that as well. I knew that I wanted to go places. I knew that I wanted to do things bigger and better than what I was going through in high school. But dancing was always, it never left my side. I always had it with me. It was a part of me. I would walk into school every morning. I wouldn't care who was watching me. I'd be doing a wee treble reel on the way in and doing my new hornpipe step and da-da-da-da-da-da, you know, all that kind of business. My parents also got divorced shortly after the earthquakes and just before I moved to high school. So that was really hard on my family. And like I said, dancing was always there for me. It was when I felt like I didn't have a safe place or somewhere I could go or somewhere I could run to or something I could run to, I always knew I had dancing. When I couldn't find my own purpose, dancing gave me my purpose. I wanted to be out there and camp and flamboyant and in everyone's faces, but in the best way possible. And I have a real passion for bringing happiness to people and seeing people with a smile on their faces and being the reason why people smile. And so dancing gave me that as well. Dancing gave me that opportunity to, you know, perform for people, even at competitions. You know, I would get up on stage and it wasn't even about getting up and doing the best hornpipe or the best reel, but it was getting up and just giving it everything I had and smiling and enjoying what I was doing. And I've always enjoyed getting up on stage and just performing for people. Even if I hadn't danced for a couple of months prior and I had a bit of a McDonald's belly on me, I would always get up and look. The left leg of my middle step may have gone downhill so quickly, but like my smile was always there because no matter how much I died and how unfit I was always happy. I was always happy to be on stage. So a big part of my dance career was when I had finally transferred to my new dance school. And I went to, my first competition back was the Australian International Eruptus in 2016. And I was really nervous. And I really wanted to win. I really wanted it for my teachers to prove to people that I can still succeed and be a fabulous dancer under the tuition of other people. I felt like there was a lot of people who were watching me and made me feel like I had a point to prove. I got up and I did 3 really, I would say, pretty good rounds, and I was really happy with them. And in the end, I ended up getting second. But I remember coming off stage and thinking, I'm really happy with how I felt when I danced. It wasn't even about whether it was foot perfect or not. I got up and I just had this sense of accomplishment. Like, I've done it. I've gotten up. I was really nervous. There was a lot of people from my old school watching, and I got up and I put out 3 really good rounds, and I was really happy, and it was all from the support of my teachers, honestly. They really just knew how to do it with me. They knew how to get in there and just say, do you know what, Mitch, like, it doesn't matter, just get up and dance, you know, just get up and you just do what you know how to do. So in 2017, I realized that I was attracted to men as well as women. I kind of had a moment where I was like, okay, well, yeah, I guess this is me, I guess, you know. And I have always been my true authentic self, like I said before. So I instantly went and told my friends. And then when I got home to New Zealand, my mum actually found out through somebody else because I hadn't told her yet. And I was like, yeah, I'm very open about it. Like, it's just, it's not a massive deal, but it is what it is. It did take me a wee while to tell my dad because I love my dad a lot and we have a very, really, really awesome relationship. When I was younger, he was probably the person I felt like I could talk to most. I feel like I could always talk to my mum, obviously, but there's mum things and then there's dad things, and you know, I always would talk to my dad about a lot of my problems and stuff like that. The uncertainty of not knowing whether he could handle it himself was really scary, which is probably why it took me a wee while to tell him. It worked out perfectly. Me and my dad still have an amazing relationship. He was really, really good about it. My mum was good about it. Everybody was good about it. I'm just really grateful that I've always had really good people around me, and I have a really supportive family and really supportive friends that have always supported me when I needed them to. I just hope that everybody can find happiness and peace within themselves and find that safe place where they feel comfortable enough with themselves that they don't have to project that toxic behavior onto other people. I also want to be known as somebody who is caring and fun, and I don't just want to be known as being gay. Labels aren't as important as what society makes them out to be. Probably the most memorable moment from my tour with A Taste of Ireland was the Christchurch show at the Isaac Theatre Royal. I had no idea that I was going to be dancing lead, and we were at rehearsals and we were doing line-up, and someone came up to me and said, oh, you must be stoked, like, congratulations. And I thought, what are you talking about? And I went on to the group chat and read a message from Brent that said, good luck, Mitch, tonight's like your lucky night, you're going to be doing lead. And I just remember thinking, oh my goodness, like, this is just it was a dream come true. But he said the one condition was that I wasn't allowed to tell anybody that was coming to the show. So I didn't tell anybody. And then I remember the music started and everybody walked on stage. And I knew that instantly my mum was going to be like, why is he not coming on stage? Because my mum had seen the show before. And I remember I walked up the back and faced the back, and then when I turned around and walked forward to the front of the stage, the whole crowd just burst into this massive applause, and the screeching sound of people screaming and clapping and yelling my name, and it is a moment that I will never be able to relive in my life ever again. But it was the most special moment that has probably ever happened to me. The fact that I was only 19 and it was my first show, and I'd only been touring for 6 months before that, and to have a reaction like that was just phenomenal. I can't explain it, I can't put it into words. I've met a lot of fans and a lot of people from the show, and it's really bizarre. I was down in Queenstown at a party a couple of weekends ago, And somebody came up to me and said, oh, you look really familiar. Like, what's your name? What do you do? And we got chatting, and I said, oh yeah, I'm a professional Irish dancer with a show that tours Australia and New Zealand and now the world. And she said to me, oh my goodness, is it a taste of Ireland? And I said, yeah, it is. How did you know? She goes, oh, well, I'm pretty sure I saw you live in Wellington last year. Did you have blonde hair and were you the lead dancer? And I remember being like, mind blown. Like, yeah, I was like, yes, that was, oh my God, amazing. Nice to meet you. Like, how's it going? She was like, you guys are amazing. Like, I admire you guys so much. Like, the show was absolutely spectacular. And I just sat and thought to myself, how funny is that? Like, what a small world. My favorite dance moment ever is probably after my first 2 rounds at the World Championships in 2017 in Dublin when I got 9th. I was in the bar with my mum waiting for recalls, and a man came up to me and said, what's your name? Where are you from? Like, who are you? And I said, oh, you know, Rowdy around New Zealand. He goes, I saw your reel and you were absolutely amazing. You were absolutely phenomenal. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, like, thank you so much. Like, ugh, how does this man even know who I am? I remember when I finished my reel, somebody actually stood up in the audience and was clapping, and I knew somebody who was sitting next to him, and he sat back down, this man, and said to, you know, my friend, oh, who is that boy? He's just amazing. What's his name? What number is he in the program? Like, what's his name in the program? It was just, like, little memories like that really, really make, you know, all the sacrifices worth it. You know, for a long time I couldn't go out with my friends and do, like, a lot of things that I wanted to do and just be like a normal 17-year-old boy because, you know, we were saving so hard for going overseas, and I had fundraising commitments, and, you know, I had class and trainings and trying to keep fit, trying to eat healthy. I couldn't eat as much McDonald's as I do now. But yeah, it really made it worth it. Like, all those little memories. And like, another amazing moment from A Taste of Ireland was my first lead show. I danced with Tyler and we got a standing ovation. And I remember thinking, this is my first lead show, and these people are standing and clapping for me because they are so excited and so happy with what we've managed to put on stage for them. And that is just, it's incredible to bring somebody that much happiness. You know, in a world right now where things are so uncertain and all of that kind of stuff, and even back in 2019, like, you know, the world can be a really evil place, but it can also be really awesome and really amazing. And to be able to be like one of the best parts of someone's week like that is just, it's really indescribable. It's amazing. It really blows my mind. It really does, that people really, really enjoy the craft and the hard work that we put into, you know, getting the show on stage and stuff like that. My advice to future auditioners is go for it. There is literally nothing stopping you from chasing your dreams other than yourself. I think that chasing your dreams and going for it is so important, is so important. You know what? Chasing it and doing it and getting out there and putting yourself out there in a way that isn't easy, like auditioning for a show because you want it so badly and being scared of the outcome. It's not easy. But you know, if you're brave enough to put yourself out there and to go for it and chase exactly what you want to do, then, you know, that's half of the success already. You don't have to be a world champion to be in A Taste of Ireland. You don't have to be, you know, on the podium at Nationals to be in A Taste of Ireland. You don't have to be. It's not about that. It's about getting up and doing what you love and putting yourself out there. And if it doesn't go your way, then do you know what? You did it anyways, and that is something to be proud of. I think that a lot of people are discouraged from auditioning for shows and kind of putting themselves out there, because it can be scary and intimidating when, you know, you're dancing with people who are really, really amazing. And I remember getting to Australia and seeing Kaylee and John T and like being like, oh my gosh, like all these people, like I've seen them all over Instagram and they're world champions and that, and I've heard about them, but I've never met them, and now I'm going to be dancing with them for the next 8 months, so like I hope that I'm good enough. And then like, you know, having the most amazing time with them. Who knows what other opportunities could come from that? You know, you might not be right for this tour, but you might be right for the next one or the one after that. There's endless opportunities when you're brave enough to put yourself on the chopping block. Be whoever you want to be. Do what you want to do. Put yourself out there in ways that you never thought you would before, because it is so self-rewarding. My name is Mitch. I am a principal performer with the show A Taste of Ireland, and this has been my journey to the stage.